Hey guys, this is Red and Blue, your channel on YouTube for all things PSG in English. Please subscribe. Today, I'm going to be talking about Vitinha, and I'm going to be talking about something that honestly triggers me a fair bit, which is I've got such a strong feeling that Vitinha is always overlooked and undervalued until he proves everyone wrong. And it's been such a trend in Vitinha's career, and to this day still holds true despite all of the achievements. And yeah, so I want to do a little bit of a rant for respect for Vitinha. Respect, man. And yeah, like I said, it's been ongoing through his whole career. So Vitinha's career started in the Porto Academy. He's a kid of Porto. He broke through over there. And then his career took off when he got loaned to Wolverhampton, to the Wolves in the Premier League. And he got loaned there. It was the year where COVID started. With this image of a big Portuguese talent and a midfielder who could hope to achieve the level of João Moutinho back in the days. So really pretty legendary Portuguese midfielder. And so he get loaned to Wolves, which was little Portugal in the UK. I think still is to some extent. And things don't really work out for him. He struggles to get some consistent playing times. He doesn't show his best colors. He gets played in different positions, not necessarily where he plays best. And so ultimately, COVID hits, and at the end of the season, Wolverhampton, they're changing coach, and they decide not to keep him. They had an option to buy him for I think around 20 million euros. So decent fee, and for a Portuguese young talent, really, really decent, and the kind of fee that wouldn't scare them if they wanted to. And so at this point, Vitinha goes back to Portugal, has an amazing season with Porto, helps them win, I think, a domestic double, the league and the cup or something. So really does very, very well, and really shows that his talent wasn't just on paper. There's something real there, and that's when Luis Campos brings him over to PSG. And he arrives to PSG, and he arrives, within a team that's Christophe Galtier PSG, with Messi, with Neymar, with Mbappe, with a lot of dysfunction within the team. And yeah, just a locker room that doesn't work well, a team that doesn't work well. And there's a very, very famous anecdote that Vitinha has actually always denied, but that he got into a little bit of a fight with Messi during training, and that Messi told him the quote is, "Not only are you bad, but now you're hurting me too," because Vitinha had actually dared to tackle Messi in training, which is apparently something that you shouldn't be doing. Vitinha has always denied that, but it's been reported over and over and over again, and it's kind of admitted that there was no love lost between the two players, and that Messi in general, but also even Neymar and so on, and all that clique around them, didn't look at Vitinha as a strong player, and looked him as kind of a B level, not good enough, and what are you doing playing with me and tackling me in training, kind of thing. It's insane now if you think about it. It's insane. But so yeah, so things end up not working for this team. At the end of the season, we get rid of Galtier. We get Luis Enrique instead, who starts to put order within the squad. Messi is gone, Neymar is gone. And the first season of Luis Enrique, it's funny because I remember vividly that Vitinha really started to shine as a player, and you could see that Luis Enrique really valued him and really valued what he could bring to the team. But at the same time, he was moved over, I remember at the beginning of that season, he was moved over everywhere in midfield and on the left and so on. And he was essentially used in a weird role of trying to contribute in midfield when we're in possession, and then out of possession, sliding to the left to cover for the fact that Mbappe wouldn't participate in the defensive work. And so Vitinha essentially had to like do the job of a midfielder when in possession, and then like do the job of himself plus Mbappe in defense when we weren't having the ball. It's like imagine it's like literally now he's like number 3 in the Ballon d'Or and top talent, but like the disrespect of having Vitinha be the one to do this. At the same time, I guess the respect because he can actually. He delivers that, which is amazing. And then progressively through the season, like Barcola emerges, so Mbappe moves to number 9 position. His like non-defensive contribution become less of something that Vitinha needs to cover for, and so that's when in the middle of the season he moves back as a number 6 and really hits his stride in terms of how he contributes and his role within the team and how like the squad actually works. And yeah, like the end of that season, we go all the way to a semi-final of the Champions League. We win a domestic treble. So it ends on a little bit of a sour note because like to this day, like everyone thinks we should have beaten Dortmund and we should have gotten past them. But still, like, it was admittedly a very strong season. And yeah, Vitinha sliding into number 6, I think like it started in the game against Real Sociedad, really participated in making this team successful and allowing it to compete that far into the season. Then last season happened. And I think last season, like the role of Vitinha, I feel like cannot be understated. I know, like, I love the player to bits and like every time I do a post-game preview, like he always strikes me because he's controlling the pace of the game and controlling the midfield so well. And you can see the importance that he has on the game, the importance that he has on the team, and the importance that he has on the results. And it goes beyond like the statistical contribution. But if you need one, is like literally last season he was the player who made the most completed passes in the Champions League run. And it really shows that like he's at the base of midfield, he's organizing the game, he's making progressive runs, he's making progressive passes, and he's setting up the team. And you see it time and time again, and you see the importance, and you see it in every round, you see it in the final. And for me, he's one of those players who I like literally never disappoints. He's always on point. He's always there. He always does his thing, and he always does it well, especially in this position. And it goes, from the game against Man City, where he's instrumental, all the way to the final, where he gives an assist on the second goal, but he's also like bossing the midfield. It's just like he's the man. He's simply the man. And that gets talked about, obviously recognized. Like I said, he just got 3rd in the Ballon d'Or. And like the week after he gets 3rd in the Ballon d'Or is the week when like literally half of world football is arguing that Pedri is actually a better midfielder than Vitinha. Like the guy just, had a huge role. And honestly, like I think there is a very fair case to make for saying that Vitinha might have been more important to this PSG squad than Dembele in winning the Champions League. And that's how far I take it and I see it. And I think if Vitinha had won the Ballon d'Or, just like Dembele and just like Hakimi, there would have been nothing to criticize about it, and it would have been completely fair. And yes, that's the way I see it. And yet, like literally the week after, people are saying Pedri is a better midfielder. And yes, like Pedri is a fantastic player. I'm not criticizing, and it's not like they're actually like a little bit different as well in terms of the roles that they play. So it's not even worth comparing. It's 2 world-class players. But how can you like 1 week after like not criticize but downgrade Vitinha and like make a challenge versus another player? It's just like simply ridiculous. And like the thing that irks me as well is that we talk about the players and so on, and we talk about like how strong of a squad we've got, how everyone is really pulling in and doing their work and so on. And then we talk about the top players that we have in our team. We talk about Dembele, we talk about Doué, we talk about Vara, we talk about Vitinha, we talk about Joao Neves and so on. We talk about Fabian Ruiz even, we talk about Hakimi. I'm sorry, but like if you look at the beginning of this season, yes, like right now, like I think there's a very fair case to make for saying that Nuno Mendes is probably right now the best player in the world for the start of his season and what he's doing and what he's showing. But at the same time, like look at the volume of injuries that we've had in PSG, the amount of players who show up on some games but not on some others. And even Nuno Mendes, he doesn't play every game. He shows great things when he's on the pitch, but he's not always on the pitch. Hakimi, like, is playing a lot, obviously, but he's also missed some game and he's definitely not at his top level. Dembele has been injured, like Vara has been injured, Fabian Ruiz has been injured, Joao Neves, who's like literally physically Joao Neves is a machine, he's been injured. And the one that remains, it's Vitinha. Vitinha is like still there, still bossing the midfield. He's got like knocks on his legs and so on, and like some sort of like small injuries that he's picked up. Still there and still bossing it. And you can see the game against Lille. The moment he comes on the pitch with Hakimi, with Nuno Mendes and Vitinha, and you see the difference. And I'm sorry, but Kang-in Lee had a very decent game playing his position. And yet you see the difference. You see straight away, he gets the ball, he organizes the game, he does what he does, he makes those runs that are like Vitinha trademark, he does the passing. And, we're right now on top of Ligue 1. Not everything is perfect, to be sure, but even in the hard moment, you look at the game against Marseille, I'm sorry, but the best player for PSG on the pitch in the game against Marseille is Vitinha. It's Vitinha. Simple as. And like absolutely no debate about it. It's Vitinha. So right now we're on top of the league. Our best player is Vitinha. And yet, in this last instance of, Vitinha getting overlooked, people voting, because it is a vote and it is open to the public, and so there's some sort of truth to it, of course. People have decided to give the Player of the Month award for Ligue 1, not to Vitinha, who was nominated, but to Florian Thauvin of Lens, who just came back to the French league and like just got called back into the French national squad. Had a great month of September, no question about it. But I'm sorry, like, where is Lens? Like, where is Lens? We beat them in the Parc des Princes. Yes, Florian Thauvin was interesting and like he had a few good actions and like he had a good month in general. I'm not criticizing, but come on, like, guys, like, we're talking, we've got like the best midfielder in the world in Ligue 1 right now in PSG, who's carrying his team to the first place in the league with literally like everyone else injured. He's carrying the team on his back and he's not Player of the Month. Respect for Vitinha, man. Like, respect for Vitinha. Seriously, like, enough is enough. So yeah, like that's my rant. This is really like what I had to say about it. It's a trend, and I really hope it's a trend that's gonna stop at some point. Because I do feel like, respect for the maestro, respect for Vitinha. For me, the best midfielder in the world right now, no question, for like a year and a half now, is the best. And he is like probably, like, to me, the most important player in this PSG, in the sense that all of our other like top players, we've got ways of working without them. Vitinha, when he's not in the team, there's no compensating for him. And the day that he's not here, like, I don't know what happens, but it's not pretty. And honestly, like, I do not want to see it. So anyways, that was my rant. Let me know in the comment if you agree with it, if you feel the same, if you if you think like he's getting respected enough now. I mean, like, I know people out there recognize the talent and recognize the player, but still, it's never enough in my mind. So let me know what you think. Drop a like on the video if you've made it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And don't forget, ici c'est Paris!